Hello, everybody. Welcome. My Denver Broncos, they lost one. Kenny Kirkpatrick, his Giants, they lost one. But I'll tell you what, man, there was plenty of games all the way around the NFL. We're going to get into all of that. What did your team do? All that and more. The Morning Juice. Hello. Welcome in, everybody. This is the Morning Juice. My name is Keith Brugman. I got my good friend, Mr. Kenny Kirkpatrick, with me. Kenny, man, I tell you what, man, week 2 already. Our teams didn't get in the win column. We can probably start there. But what a devastating day, I think, really, for the Denver Broncos as they went on the road. As you can tell, I'm on the road as well. But as they went on the road and end up putting one in the loss column to start their season. First loss of the season in a 2-game stretch, I guess.
Yeah, it's only week 2, but I feel, you ever see that show? I'm sure you've heard of it, Keith, and I'm sure our audience heard of it, 1,000 Ways to Die. Well, our teams found way 475 and way 685 to lose. So they really did find, it's only week 2, and especially my team, we're finding 1,000 ways to lose. We're going to get into it, but I want to welcome everybody to the morning juice. And like I did last week and going to do every week, I'm going to start off with a little cheers and juice it up, everyone. Today's juice of choice is a little simple white grape. Just a simple white grape, refreshing on a nice late summer, early fall day. So cheers, everyone, and welcome to the show.
Welcome. And welcome, Mr. Michael Ronquillo, coming in saying good morning, Keith and Kenny. On the Morning Juice, go Bo Broncos. Got those blue and orange hearts. Got that mile-high salute. Michael, let's just kick it off right there, man.
It comes with 100 stars. So we got to salute our morning juice friend, our Denver Bronco friend, every one of our podcasts, the guys, everybody's friend Michael Ronquillo is there to support us, and we thank you, Michael, and hope you enjoyed today's show.
Absolutely, Michael. You're going to get us started, man. First comment in, and we usually talk a little bit about the Denver Broncos to get started, man. My morning juice is brought to you by Comfort Inn and Suites. That'd be the coffee that's in the room. Thank you so much. It's getting me by. It's not any Lion coffee like I usually like to put in my cup, but it's getting me by this morning. And man, we almost got by with a win, versus the Indianapolis Colts. Came down to the very end, Kenny, and quite honestly, a controversial call, man. You go back, you look at it. I don't think I've ever seen a leverage play get called quite like that. It didn't even seem like it was real. It seemed like it was just something that was given away to the Colts at the end. Devastating loss for the Denver Broncos as they now are 1-1, man.
Yeah. And you know what, Keith? I got to see some of the other games. The Giants-Cowboy game had over 20 penalties. I want to see the other games in the league, how many penalties there were, because the refs really took the game away from some of these teams and going forward. But that leverage play is definitely one to look back at. And the more I'm looking at it, the more I'm saying the Broncos got what. So I hate to say that, but the refs put the game in their hands at the end and took a hard-fought victory away from the Broncos. That's a play they could have let slide, but I feel if that game's in Denver, they don't call it. That was a not saying a hometown call, but they wouldn't have called it if it was the home team at home. If that was the Colts, they probably wouldn't have called that, unfortunately. I do have one for you. Michael's out there. and this can maybe be a little teaser towards Denver Bronco Roundup on Wednesday, Keith. For those who don't know, check out Denver Bronco Roundup on Wednesday evening. Bo Nix, 2 weeks in a row. Yesterday, I saw him having a little, back and forth with Sean Payton on the sidelines. Week 1, I saw him calling out some teammates. Is this a concern in year 2 that we're seeing him be all feisty and now yelling at the coach? I don't want to say necessarily yelling, but definitely there was definitely some tension there on the sideline. And in week 1, calling out teammates on TV, national TV on the field. So is there any concern about that with Bo Nix? And maybe we can talk about it a little more on Wednesday. But is that a concern with you that there's some tension between him and the coach?
I'll make it short. Like I said, maybe we can save it for Wednesday and the roundup and get a little bit more into the NFL. Get him a little bit more in depth on Wednesday. But I'll say this. Sean Payton's the guy who came out there and said, well, he's got a little bit of Ferris Bueller in him. And he said it from the very, very get, likes to do it his own way. And for me, I'm okay with it. For me, it shows confidence. Too many of these rookie quarterbacks come in. They're not ready. And because of that, they don't question. To me, when you start questioning the coach, when you start questioning the players, tells me that you're checked in, you know what is expected, and you have high expectations. I'm good with it right now. Kenny, what are your thoughts, man?
I'm good with it too, because you're the player, you're the quarterback, you're on the field, you're the field general. Peyton's the one calling the plays on the sidelines. Hey, let's get out of this scheme. This is what we need to do. Stop being stubborn, coach. This is what we need to do. I told you this. This is where the strength is on our offense today. Let's get to it. And show that competitiveness. Now with the players, last week I saw him point out Lucas Kroll. Maybe you call him over on the sideline and you have a discussion with him on the sideline, your teammates. But the coach, I have no problem with him going to the head coach. It shows a lot of confidence he shows in him in leadership. Hey, we need to start doing this. So I'm okay with that. But the players, I'd rather see him do it on the sideline and have a discussion on the bench.
Fair enough. We want to talk about strengths. Let's switch a little bit, man. Got to be honest, man. Russell Wilson, he was dealing for the New York Giants, man. It wasn't because Russell Wilson wasn't capable of leading this team and putting up some points. Heck, I think Wan'Dale Robinson has got to be loving life right now. But the Giants weren't able to get it done in the end. It seemed like it's, Aubrey and the Dallas Cowboys, man. That guy, whew.
What a weapon.
Wouldn't you love to have him on your team? You just get to the midfield and you're good, man.
Yeah, 64-yard field goal. All they had to do was go 40 yards to get in field goal range from the 15, and there it was, 64-yard field goal. But Russell Wilson, most yards in his career in one game, 3 touchdowns. He was throwing the ball, Keith. I know the Bronco game started, so a lot of Bronco fans didn't see the end of the Giants-Cowboy game. But towards the end in the fourth quarter, we were down twice in the fourth quarter, and deep balls into double coverage on the dime. And, I know I'm not alluding to Daniel Dimes, but Russell Wilson is throwing the ball. And, maybe this is just a 1-week thing. Maybe he starts, showing age. But, man, the fountain of youth was there yesterday. And, unfortunately, we ended up losing that game. But, some stuff to be, optimistic about and things to look forward to as a Giant fan, in my opinion, going forward. And Jackson Dart got in a couple plays as well. They brought him in. So I think you're going to see Jackson Dart sooner than later in this offense.
Yeah, officially 30 for 41, 450 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Malik Neighbors had a day, 9 receptions for 167 yards. 2 touchdowns and 142 yards on 8 receptions for Wan'Dale Robinson. Added that touchdown as well. Like I said, dealing out there, man. But it was 1 interception, unfortunately, by Russell Wilson that, just an ugly interception, something that maybe shouldn't have been thrown up there. And The one interception was about as ugly as it got in a beautiful looking game for Russell Wilson.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's hit all the way around the NFL, man.
Let's do
We're
it.
getting right into it, man. Let's hit it. Let's hit the juice, I guess. The first squeeze, the morning juice. Let's hit it, buddy.
Let's talk about Joe Burrow first. The Cincinnati Bengals get off to a 2-0 start, but Bengal fans' worst nightmare. Joe Burrow goes down early in this game with an injury, goes to the locker room, doesn't come back. And breaking news right before we went on the air, it's been said on New York sports radio, where my neck of the woods, that Joe Burrow is going to elect surgery and will be out for up to 3 months. So big loss for the Bengals in a tough division, Keith. With the the Steelers lost yesterday, but you got the Ravens, and the Ravens are looking like they could be. They bounced back, but this is going to be a tough division, and you don't want to fall behind too far in this division. But Browning's a capable backup for a couple games, but we're going to see how he's going to be for 3 months. That's a long time.
Good to see Mr. Roy Osborne checking in this morning. Good to see him calling us the Horsemen. I guess we're still Horsemen even on the morning juice, man. I'll
Sure.
go ahead and I'll take it as well, man. Penalties kill you. It's a proven once again. Yeah. Penalties. There was plenty of penalties in this league. I'm sure he's referring to the Denver Broncos penalties, but Joe Burrow, man, this could be part of the toasted segment as well, man. What the Cincinnati Bengals have done to protect their quarterback is obscene. They continue to ignore it, and it's starting to pay the price, man. Joe Burrow, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but if he can't stay upright, if he's out year after year, now it's looking like probably a minimum of 3 months. They said maybe a maximum of 3 months. Either way, December 15th, at that point, the season's over. You're done. Do you even bring Joe Burrow back, even if you're into a playoff run at that point? You just kill the season. You just kill the season, the Cincinnati Bengals. And I really rack it up to them. Just, I know they got a lot of mouths to feed over there, and they've been trying to pay a lot of contracts, but it hasn't been on the offensive line. They haven't helped them at all.
No, and it's sad for the fans that don't get to see their franchise quarterback again this year, and there's going to be a lot of frustrations there. But on the other side, that's an AFC team that was supposed to be a playoff contender, outside Super Bowl contender. Now, that helps some of these other AFC teams, Keith. And one that I'm looking at is the team that beat the Broncos this week, Keith, the Colts. Daniel Jones wants, if I'm not seeing nightmares with field goal kickers, I'm seeing Daniel Jones in my nightmares as a Giants fan, because he came out, did what he needed to do against your Broncos and Roy and Michael's Broncos, and did enough. And Jonathan Taylor looking like the healthy Jonathan Taylor he was that they drafted a couple of years ago. And they did what they needed to do at home, and they got a home field advantage in a dome and on that turf. So we're going to see how they are on the road, but that's a team that could take advantage of the Bengals' misfortune and be the next team up if the Bengals falter.
Switch it over to the NFC, man. If I didn't talk about one of the highest scoring games in the NFL this week, at least so far, I'd be amiss, man. Lions decided week one was an anomaly. This offense is just fine, and they can put up points, Kenny. 52-21 over the Bears. We'll end up talking maybe a little bit more about this game later, but what a offensive performance, as Dan Campbell takes on his former employee and Ben Johnson versus the Chicago Bears. Man, they're back, man. They're okay, I think.
They're back, and you could put the old, what are we going to do about our offensive coordinator now because of week one, the Packers, and the Packers, they're off to a 2-0 start, but the Lions, hats off to them. They bounced back at home, and I think that team's going to be an NFC contender for sure. And not just a contender, it's going to be a fun division to watch with the other team out there in the NFC North, the Packers.
Ain't that the truth, man? I'm going to keep it. I'm going to mix it up just a little bit. One more game, man. One from the NFC, one from the AFC. Let's talk about those Eagles Chiefs in a Super Bowl rematch, man. Big things for both of us. Obviously, being an NFC East guy, watching the Eagles is something that you'll need to do. And me over in the AFC West, being a Broncos fan, watching the Chiefs is something I'll need to do. And what were your takeaways from the Eagles versus the Chiefs?
That if the Eagles stay healthy, they're going to be very hard to beat. And we may start seeing, unfortunately for us NFC fans, but Keith and Michael, Roy, everybody that's a Bronco fan out there are well accustomed to the Chiefs winning their division for many years. We may start seeing that change in the NFC East and the Eagles being the front runners for many years and everybody else looking up to them. And as for the Chiefs, they're starting to look a little old, maybe panicky. Andy Reid went for it early in the game on his 35, 38 yard line to be exact. And they didn't get the first down, 4th and 1. A little panic there maybe from Andy Reid, not converting on 4th downs. Now you put yourself in an 0-2 hole. One of the teams, we're going to get into it tonight, one of the teams in the AFC West is going to have a 2-game advantage on the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. But I sure wish it was the Broncos yesterday. They could have had a nice 2-game advantage on them. But hey, back to the drawing board. The Chiefs are on the bottom, looking up, and keep them on the bottom. But they're a team that looks old, and Chris Jones fighting with the verbally fighting, not fist fighting with the Jalen Hurts after the game and talking stuff. Listen, Chris Jones, you just lost the game. There's no need to talk to the Super Bowl champs. They took it to you at home and they beat you, and he's smack talking the last play of the game to Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts just said, look at the score.
Yeah, look at the score. It's done.
Panic for the Chiefs. And I think Super Bowl possibly rematch, Super Bowl repeat for the Eagles were my 2 takeaways early week 2 in that game.
Yeah, a lot of things got to get right for the Chiefs. Last time they started 0-2, they missed the playoffs. Will that be the case this year? And, of course, like you said, the Eagles just off and running. A lot of debate this morning, though, about, of course, once again, the tush push, the brotherly shove. Saw that this morning on Get Up, and they're talking about how, offense is getting a little off the ball a little bit early, a little bit of false starting happened on some of those tush pushes. We talked a little bit about officiating earlier and how that may have dictated some games. You need to be on point when it comes to some of this stuff. If you're going to call maybe calls that aren't there, you got to make sure you hit the ones that are as well. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not a big fan of the tush push, but it's certainly, if it's illegal, what they're doing, then we need to get that under control. Kenny, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move the first squeeze. I'm going to get into the pulp of this, man. Yeah. Because I really liked what you dropped into our agenda. We have some contenders and pretenders type of segment coming up, man. And I'm going to have you lead us through it as we hit the pulp, man.
Sure. So contenders, guys, and audience play along. I like to always have an interactive topic for everybody. It's are you a Super Bowl contender, playoff contender, or a pretender? These are some of our 2-0 teams to get off to fast starts, Keith. So going to start off, and this one may change a lot of people's minds. The first one I have on the list is the Cincinnati Bengals. We talked about it. They managed to pull off the win. They have a capable backup in Browning, but they lost Joe Burrow with their offensive line once again. Jamar Chase is still there. He had a game yesterday, and defense led by Henriksen. Is this team at 2-0 still a Super Bowl contender, a playoff contender, or are they going to now be a pretender with the loss of Joe Burrow?
If you're going to ask me, and I want the audience to jump in on any of these that they want to as well, I'm gonna say pretender. I know they got a lot of pieces and parts, but we all know what it really is, and it's a quarterback that makes a team go, especially if you're talking playoffs and Super Bowl. I mean, as much as I want to have faith for the Cincinnati Bengals and their fans, that he can hold it down. Uh, I just don't. I think it's too much to ask. There isn't very many backup quarterbacks that can pilot a team through an entire season and get them into the playoff. I gotta say, pretender when it comes to the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, I'm with you, Keith. With the loss of Joe Burrow, I had him as a playoff contender with Joe Burrow, but not even a Super Bowl contender. I just thought that there's too many good teams in the AFC ahead of them that they would have had a lot to overcome. I'm going to unfortunately go to this one. This team beat you guys yesterday. The Indianapolis Colts sitting on top of the AFC South at 2-0. We'll see what how far they can go. Is this a Super Bowl contender, a playoff contender, or are they a pretender?
I'm going to let you take this one first. We'll go back and forth. How's that?
Back fine. That's in a weak AFC South. This was a team that I was a little wrong on. If you go back and watch some Denver Bronco roundup shows, I had this team as when we did the Broncos schedule. I had this as one of the worst teams in the NFL because of the Anthony Richardson quarterback situation. And what did they do? Daniel Jones beat them out in training camp in preseason, takes over the starting role. 2 wins. Now they were both at home, but they beat a playoff contender, maybe some people saying Super Bowl contender, Denver Bronco team yesterday. Hats off to them for a 2-0 start. But I think there's too many good teams in the AFC for them to be called a Super Bowl contender. But I'm going to have them as a playoff contender and an NFC South title, AFC South title contender for sure.
I'm in a 100% agreement, man. Sometimes it's not the person, it's the fit with the team. And I'll be honest, Daniel Jones looks like a completely different guy in an Indianapolis Colts uniform than I ever saw him in New York. Maybe it was the media, maybe it was the big city. He just never looked comfortable. We'll all remember that press conference. But now in Indianapolis with Shane Steichen, things are starting to roll, man. And he's got weapons around him. He's got enough on defense to get it done. Man, I tell you, look out. I'm saying playoff contender for the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, well, and with Daniel Jones, I said his best thing would be to go to a smaller market, not national televised games often, and that's where he is right now. So hats off to you, Daniel Jones. Wish you the best of luck out there, and hope you can move on with your career, which you have already in 2 weeks. Looking at my list, Keith, I'm going to give you an NFC team. I'm going to give you the LA Rams off to a 2-0 start.
Whew. This is a big one. Sorry about that. I'll say I playoff contender again. The problem is with this division, the Rams are out there with the 49ers, who just had Mac Jones go out there and win them a game, and the surprising Arizona Cardinals. They're already off to a 2-0 start. Now, Arizona tends to start hot, cool quickly when it comes time to the end of the season. So we'll see how that plays out. But when you have a Sean McVay, when you have a Matt Stafford, when you have a Puka Nacua, these are guys who know how to play and get games won. I'll say playoff contender, but I think it's going to be a tough run in order to try to make that playoff run. They might be talking wild card. They might have to push hard in order to try to get to that spot. But right now, I'll say contender as well, man. I'm putting everybody in that list, man.
Yeah. I'm going to throw one off that may be a pretender, and then I'll do the last one. I'll give you the last one, which will be a twofer.
Okay.
I got the Packers listed, but that's going to be our Super Bowl contender. That's easy. That's the team I think that's going to compete with the Eagles. But my pretender is going to be the Arizona Cardinals. 2-0 start. They're very young on defense. Will Johnson, Walter Nolan, they're building something nice there. But like you just alluded to, You got the 49ers there who are winning with Mac Jones right now. They don't have Brock Purdy. The Rams are sitting there, and the Seahawks. And when they start playing each other, they're going to knock each other off. And I think the Cardinals are going to fall down to earth a little bit. So that'll be my pretender out of the group. I'm going to give you a twofer, Keith. They're both 1-0. They play tonight. Late night start on the East Coast here. Give me the Raiders and Chargers as a twofer to wrap up the segment.
Oh, boy. Now you're going to put me on the spot as the AFC West guy. Just because I can't continue to put people in the same category, I'm going to put them in opposite ends of the spectrum. I'm going to say that the Raiders are a pretender. I'm going to say that right now they just don't have it. You know, the first year, Pete Carroll looking good so far. You know, everyone's all excited. But I think it's a little bit of putting lipstick on a pig as of right now. Brock Bowers has been banged up. It looks like he is going to go, but, you know, that's a main key piece to keep the wheel turning for the Raiders. I'm going to say the Raiders are pretenders as of right now. On the opposite side of things, you might be looking at a Super Bowl contender with the San Diego Chargers. Oh, Los Angeles Chargers, man. My 80s are showing. Los Angeles Chargers, you know, Harbaugh, Herbert, what they've got going there. Amari and Hampton, the defense seems to be coming around. We'll all see it play out. But, you know, I think this is a team that has the potential of, especially with the Chiefs, being off to an 0-2 start, being a possible Super Bowl contender, because I think they have a good chance of winning the division.
I agree with you on both, Keith. And if the Chargers can win a big road game tonight, they're even going to elevate even higher for me, because that's not going to be an easy game. That environment in Las Vegas, after they got off to a 1-0 start, they get their home opener tonight. They can go and spoil the party. Watch out for the Chargers. That's watch out for them, because that's going to be a hard environment to win. So we're going to learn a lot about the Chargers tonight, in my opinion. All right, that was good, Keith. Got any other teams off the top of your head that you want to discuss, or with the contenders? I think those were our 2-0 teams.
Yeah, I think those are our 2-0s right now. I mean, we can get deeper into it as the season moves along, but right now, you know, got to look at those teams that have already jumped out, have that 2-0 start, and wonder, you know, is it true? Are they true contenders, or are they just pretending? Sometimes it's all about that schedule to start off the season. Broncos thought they had an easy one to begin with, and 1-1 couldn't get into the end of the mix as far as pretenders or contenders with that loss, Kenny.
No,
Kenny, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit our sponsor real quick and just talk about them, and that's our amazing sponsor, Morgan Trinkets. Morgan Trinkets has been your headquarter for Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, estate gold at wholesale prices for over 34 years. Once in your backyard, now they're just, once nationwide, now they're just in your backyard, northern Colorado, southern Wyoming, doing shows and tours to every fairground and a gem show, dog show you can possibly imagine. But don't worry, if you can't get out to northern Colorado, southern Wyoming, and one of the places that Morgan Trinkets is out there taking care of everybody, head on over to Etsy, and all of a sudden my system's having an issue, so we'll might not get it up there. Head on over to Etsy, type in Morgan Trinkets Co. That's Morgan Trinkets Co. And there you are. Bam. You have everything that Pearl has to offer, including silver, sterling silver, 100% sterling silver. All orders over $50 are shipped absolutely free, and all major credit cards, they're accepted as well. Check out Morgan Trinkets at Morgan Trinkets Co. That's Morgan Trinkets Co. And over on Etsy. Check them out today, and fantastic sponsor. If you're into Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, State Gold, wholesale prices, need to check them out today. Kenny, we go from the contender to the panic in week 2 already?
I got a couple 0-2 teams that the panic meter may be high. So 10 being the highest, where the meter's at its highest, and you're panicking, Keith, if you're a fan of this team, or a coach or media, etc. And I got 3 teams for us, all the way down to 1 being you're not panicking at all. Let's get right into it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give you the Kansas City Chiefs right out of the gate, 0-2. Now they played Chargers in Brazil, but they lost their home opener, Super Bowl rematch, Philadelphia Eagles in week 2. They get to face, well, we're going to get into the week 3 schedule, but they get the Giants on week 3 on national TV in New York. What's this panic meter for you at Kansas City?
Oh boy. I mean, if it's 1 to 10 or ice cold to red hot, man, it's tipping the scales. I mean, you don't start off 0-2, being a quote unquote dynasty team that just barely missed out last year and feel good about it. They don't look in sync. Travis Kelce looks like a guy that's thinking about the married life more than he's thinking about the football field. Like you said, you have Andy Reid out there pressing early, trying to get things done, and it ain't working for him. Man, all good things come to an end, and this might be the end of what was the dynasty run for the Kansas City Chiefs, especially, I know it's the New York Giants, and maybe they haven't looked perfect to start off the season, but now you got a big primetime game away in New York. Pressure's on, man. Pressure's on for them to get their first win. They go 0-3. Look out.
I'm with you, Keith. This meter's as close to a 10 for me. And we all said the distraction of Kelce, and he's going to announce. And my hot take, bold prediction on the morning juice is Travis Kelce, middle of the year. Chiefs are struggling. He's going to announce his retirement from the NFL this year. And that's going to become a further distraction for the Kansas City Chiefs as their struggling year. And this could finally be the year that the Chiefs fall off the pedestal. Patriots have done it since when Brady left. They haven't gotten back. Now that Kelsey's getting older and some of these players are getting older, the Chiefs dynasty may be over. This one's very high for me too. It's in the red. It's in the 9s for me. And I would be worried if I'm a Chiefs fan that it is over. No run game as well. Run game looks very bad for the Chiefs and the whole offense. Mahomes is doing the Mahomes things, but the rest of the team looks out of sync for sure.
100%.
I got 2 more for you, Keith. We'll stay in the AFC. A team playing tonight, the Houston Texans, and I put them on the panic meter because they lost week 1. It was in LA, but the Colts off to that 2-0 start. The Jaguars lost a close one yesterday. The AFC South doesn't look like a runaway division like a lot of people thought it was going to be. So what's your panic meter on the Houston Texans?
I'm not. I think I'm going to put it low to begin with. I know that they didn't win week 1, and this is an AFC South that's going to be fairly competitive. I think that's just it. I think it's going to be fairly competitive. I don't think this is going to be, like you said, a runaway by any stretch of the imagination. I think that they can stay in the mix as they come into round. And only a week 1 loss, I'm not going to start smashing the panic meter as of right now. Honestly, I think that CJ Stroud could actually have one of his better years. Let's let it play out. Last year, he battled with injuries to his team and still had a pretty good year in his quote unquote sophomore slump. We'll see what CJ Stroud has to do. I think it'll take quite a bit. So no panic here.
Slight panic for me, just only because of the Joe Mixon situation. They brought him in to be the lead back, and now you're counting on Nick Chubb. And great story, Nick Chubb, comeback player of the year candidate maybe, but he's just that, he's come off some horrific injuries. Can you count on this guy in the long term? And if something has to happen to Nick Chubb, where's your running depth coming from? So slight panic, little less than a 5 for me, maybe a 3 or a 4. So there is a little bit there, but in the division they're in, I think that they'll start winning some games and they'll be competitive in that AFC South for sure. So little panic, but not crazy panic like the Chiefs. I got a feeling this one may be on the higher end of the spectrum. Keith, my last team for you, a team in the NFC North that people said, oh, they're going to have a great year. They bring in a new coach, and it's the Chicago Bears. Ben Johnson comes in. What happens in week 1? They're down late to the Vikings, and Ben Johnson with 2 minutes and 2 seconds left in the game, instead of going for, and onside kicks are going to be almost impossible in the NFL to get, but he didn't even give his team a chance. He had a major blunder by kicking the ball into the end zone, and all the receiver had to do, because the Bears had no timeouts, was run it out to the 5-yard line and then take a knee. And the game over. So there was blunder number one for the rookie head coach. We just saw what they did in week 2, the Lions, Keith. So where's your panic meter with the Bears starting week 3?
My panic meter is probably fairly high on this one. I would say like 8, 9 for the Chicago Bears. I was not enamored by Caleb Williams coming out, and what I've seen from him so far, it's going to be a struggle. Ben Johnson's offense is not a simple offense to run. Caleb Williams is really going to have to pick up his game if he's going to go ahead and be able to pilot these Bears. But as of right now, I don't see that. And panic. You went out there, you got Caleb Williams, and I don't know if you have a franchise quarterback, at least in Chicago. We all saw that Daniel Jones wasn't a franchise quarterback in New York. Maybe Caleb Williams can have – I'm not trying to push him out already, but I'm just saying as of right now, does not look good for the Chicago Bears, Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, and what they have going on. Like I said, huge on the panic meter. I'm going to stamp it as a 9. How's that?
Yeah, and this one for me is even higher than the Chiefs. I didn't think this team was going to be good coming in, because I think they're overhyping Caleb Williams, like you just said, Keith. We're on the same page a lot today, because I did not care for him out there, being the number 1 pick, playing out in USC, a pass-heavy offense by Lincoln Riley out there in USC. They gave this guy, Ben Johnson, offensive mastermind with the Lions. They hire him. DJ Moore, Roman Dunze, Cole Kmet, and Colston Loveland, two offensive, receiving type tight ends. They gave this guy a lot of offensive power, Caleb Williams, and he has not shown that he is going to be anything special in this NFL in year 2 after a struggle in year 1. Panic meter is almost at a 10. I don't want to go 10 on anybody in week 2, but this is definitely in the 9s as well for me. NFC North is the black and blue division too. They're just going to pound everybody. You got the Packers and Lions, who are Super Bowl contenders, and you got the Vikings, who I think are going to have a great year too, even though they lost yesterday.
I agree, man. Not an easy division to contend in, and the struggles that you're already seeing and showing, I don't think, like I said, big turnaround if you're going to get on the plus side of this, or get on the positive side of this, I guess is the best way to put it, because right now it doesn't look good, and you're in a tough division.
Exactly. Those were my panic meters, Keith. I didn't want to throw too many teams out yet. Think after, this will be a recurring segment on a couple, as the season progresses, we can have fun with it again. In a couple of weeks, we can maybe, do an updated contender, pretender, and panic meter. So I like definitely something that we can do in the future for future shows too.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Like I said, it's like you said, a little bit early here for pretender or contender. But there are some concerns around the NFL for some of these teams, and like a couple of them that we hit already, man. Chiefs, you got to be concerned. You're 0-2. You got to get a win. You got to start competing in the AFC West. It was supposed to be one of the most competitive divisions, and I guess it's showing it, because the Chiefs are out there and looking to make up some ground already, just as an example in our pretenders and contenders. But long season, man. We might be back talking about them being contenders come the end of this, man. We always love to do this one, man, Kenny. Toasted. Yeah. Let's just some toasted here real quick, and then we'll get into some predictions, kind of moving forward, and get on out of here. Get everyone kicked off on a fantastic week with the morning juice. But let's get into toasted, man. There were There are some teams, players, maybe even some refs, I don't know, that
Yeah.
got toasted this weekend. Love to get your thought on who gets your number one first nomination for the toasted segment.
My number one toasted segment, Keith, is going to be uh, Dan Campbell toasting Ben Johnson and the Detroit Lions toasting the Chicago Bears. It's like that all-you-can-eat buffet, Keith, breakfast buffet, where you go up and you get your eggs and you get your home fries and little side meats, sausage. There's your Mont St. Brown's, the bacons. And then what happens? It's all you can eat. I'm going up for the pancakes. I'm going up for the French toast. I'm going up for cereal, et cetera, et cetera. And maybe even a third helping. 52 points that offense that Dan Campbell put up on Ben Johnson. And Ben Johnson, shame on you. 2 weeks in a row, you brought into the Bears to be this, going to change this franchise around. You made the blunder in week 1. You should know you created that Detroit Lions offense, and that's how your defense comes out yesterday. Toasted. Number one toast of the week, the all-you-can-eat buffet. Dan Campbell going to that all-you-can-eat breakfast buffet and going up multiple times and beating up on the Chicago Bears. So, Ben Johnson, you have officially been toasted.
I like it. We talked about it a little bit earlier, Kenny. What a beatdown! 52 points. Something you don't usually see in the NFL. That's usually relegated to college football when you see that many points put up. Detroit Lions certainly toasted the Chicago Bears. I'm going to be in agreement with that. I'm going to go a little bit different direction. What's happened to the Pittsburgh Steelers? Steel curtain, defense is everything. Offense is secondary. We can get it done on offense. It's our defense. It's that steel curtain. Kenny, they gave up 32 points in week 1 to the Jets. They gave up 31 points in week 2 in a loss to the Seahawks. I mean, I know it ain't 52 points, but my goodness, this Pittsburgh Steelers defense is getting toasted. I don't know what's going to come up against the Patriots coming up, because the Patriots actually played pretty dang good in week 2 as well. But I mean, like I said, it's done. It's over. What we once thought maybe was the Pittsburgh Steelers, strength in the defense, it's all flipped over to the offensive side. At least it seems in as of 2025, this defense is getting toasted.
Yeah, I'm with you. That was a good one, Keith. The Steelers need to, they had the questions about Aaron Rodgers, and you want him to be a game manager because you think your defense is going to be the ones to hold the fort down. But you're not going to win many games if you're going to count on Aaron Rodgers scoring games into the 30s. So that's just not the way the Steelers are built right now. And this defense better turn around this year, or this could be the year the Steelers miss those playoffs. And, they look ahead for their future quarterback, and a lot of decisions to be made as the season goes. So we'll see. But like that toasted, Keith. I got one more for you. All right, I got another one for you, I should say.
Yeah.
And that was the Thursday night game. And the Green Bay Packers, we talked about them. They're looking like a Super Bowl contender. And Micah Parsons, the big cheese. You're in Wisconsin, you go out for breakfast, and there's your big cheese omelet, just loaded with cheese on top, stuffed inside. Micah Parsons was all over the field. Unlike the Giants in week 1, they were forcing Jaden Daniels to make quick throws. Commanders unfortunately lose Austin Eckler in the game for the year, so their offense was out of sync. They kept Terry McLaurin out of the end zone for the first time in his career against the Packers. So big cheese omelet, lots of loaded cheese, different cheeses, but Micah Parsons, the big cheese, got it done in a 27-18 game, but it was more like a 27-7 type game. They got a couple late scores in the fourth when they started playing their their prevent style defense. But Jordan Love looked awesome and torched the defense, looking good, throwing a lot of deep balls and throwing to a lot of different receivers on the offensive side. But the big cheese, Micah Parsons, does his job in his first game with a lot of reps, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in this NFC East, NFC North, and NFC as a Super Bowl contender. That could be the biggest threat to the Eagles. So toasted for sure, the Washington Commanders.
Yeah. It's going to be tough to match up against the Green Bay Packers, I think, this year. Their defense with Micah Parsons is going to keep them in games. It's kind of like what we expect from my Denver Broncos type of team. This defense should keep them in games. And if Jordan Love is dealing on top of it, then look out, man. You could be toasted by the Green Bay Packers and the big cheese, Micah Parsons. Kansas City Chiefs got toasted, says Michael Ronquillo. You're right, Michael. That was on my list as well. We talked about, again, panic meters regarding these Kansas City Chiefs. Can't miss out also on the toasted segment because, and they're out there, they're getting toasted. They're 0-2 in a division that's supposed to be the most competitive. So good call out, Michael Ronquillo. I'm going to go one more for me, man. Toasted for me. Well, I guess I got to go this way. I'll go Mike McDaniels. Mike McDaniels, I love the story, love the comeback story, love that the players adored him as he came into Miami, changed the mindset because with Brian Flores, I think there was a little bit of obviously drama between ownership and coaching and everything else. Came in, refreshed the whole thing, comeback story of his own. But man, as of right now, man, he's down there in that Miami sun, and I don't know if he's just putting on some baby oil and hanging out on the beach. But right now, he's getting toasted down there in Florida, and I don't know how long this continues. It's not looking good. His team didn't look good in the preseason. Now he's off to an 0-2 start. Man, Miami Dolphins are just getting toasted. That's all I can say, man. Miami Dolphins and Mike McDaniels, man. That's my toasted nomination there, buddy.
They are getting toasted.
Second week in a row, by the way.
Yeah, they are getting toasted, and on a different meaning of the word toasted for me. Instead of the breakfast toasting, forgot to put his sunscreen on. Time to get some sunblock. Too much sun tanning oil there, and the skin is definitely getting toasted there in Miami. I'll say that. I got one more quick one for you, Keith. I'll do this one real quick. The New York teams, New York Jets and the New York Giants, both in my neck of the woods. Both teams getting toasted. New Jersey, we're known for diners. And Buffalo is not too far. There are a neighbor to the north. They came down and just took over one of those New Jersey diners and just ordered everything on the menu. And that Dallas as well. Dallas took care of the Giants in diner fashion. But Buffalo, what they did to the Jets after everybody in the media, myself included, say, man, this is a perfect letdown game. This could be the game for Justin Fields and the Jets to pull off the first win for Aaron Glenn. Game wasn't even close from the beginning. Complete dominance by the Buffalo Bills. And this may be the team that gets to the next step. And they're the favorites right now, in my opinion, in the Buffalo Bills. On the other side, the Cowboys, Giants, that was back and forth. I'm not going to say there was too much toasting going on, but both offenses toasted each other. And I think that the bread got stuck in the toaster because both defenses got completely toasted in that. So I'm just going to go to the defenses of the Cowboys and Giants toasted by Dak Prescott and Russell Wilson leading the offenses.
Like that. The bread slices get stuck in the toast. Ain't nothing worse, man. Like the panic sets in. You're looking for the cancel button. You're looking to unplug it. Yeah, they wish they could have unplugged and not had been toasted like they were, those two defenses in New York. Kenny, great segment, man. Love the toasted segment.
Love it. Love it. It's unique. We brought it. We should trademark it, Keith, and get some T-shirts made.
Ooh, I like that, man. Toasted. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Love Mr. Ernie Mays coming in here as well. Coming in saying go Broncos.
Give him a morning
country.
salute. I'll give our friend Ernie a morning salute.
Good morning to Mr. Ernie Mays, man. As we're about ready to wrap up, let's hit a couple of games, man, that are still on the docket for week 2. Maybe get some predictions there, and then get people off on their week, man, with a big old cup of morning juice in the books.
I'll take care of the NFC one, Keith, for you, and then I'll give you a prediction, and maybe you give me a prediction because I'm looking at our time, and then you can cover the AFC one, and I'll just give you a quick prediction at the end.
Yes.
Tonight you got the NFC AFC matchup. The early game is going to be the Buccaneers and Texans, and Baker Mayfield. They came out, did what they had to do against the Falcons. Now the Falcons just beat the Vikings in Minnesota, so the Falcons could be a sneaky good team this year. But the Buccaneers were my sleeper to get to the Super Bowl this year. Mm-hmm. Mike Evans Godwin's out, but they got Bucky Irving running the ball. They got a good offensive line. Baker Mayfield looks like a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. And they got a star rookie in the making in Emeka Egbuka, Keith. And I think that's going to be the difference tonight, 2 weeks in a row. 2 touchdowns in week 1. I think he gets into the end zone again tonight. And I think the Buccaneers get to a fast 2-0 start. And the Texans, 0-2, surprised to start the game. I'll give you a score. I think it's going to be a little high score in 27-24 Buccaneers. Pull off the win.
Well, Kenny, should be a couple of good games. You're giving me the AFC, and rightfully so, because it's the AFC West matchup that we're all going to be watching, especially as Broncos fans as well. This is going to set the division. Right now, we have the 0-2 Chiefs. We have the 1-1 Denver Broncos. And then we have the Chargers and the Raiders. We're going to find out top to bottom where everybody sits after this game. Because of that, I expect it to be nothing more than an absolute slugfest type of game. A lot of passion in this game. The Chargers have been favored by many to maybe take this AFC West early on, even versus the Chiefs. The Raiders are up and coming with a brand new evolution of the Las Vegas Raiders under Pete Carroll and Aston Genty. I expect nothing more than a fantastic game. Ernie Mays, I think, type of game that I would like to see. He's coming in with a prediction: Chargers 31, Raiders 30. I think it's going to be that type of game where it's going to be a really type of close game. I'm not going to give it quite that many points, but I'll tell you what, I'm gonna do an odd score just for the heck of it.
I like it.
Let's say 24-22. I'm going to say the Raiders come out on top. Why not, man? Mix it up. I think it's going to be one of these divisions that could be topsy-turvy the entire season. Chiefs are going to win some games. They'll start coming back up. The Raiders will take this one early. The Chargers are going to come back. And, of course, our Denver Broncos, hopefully, are piloting all the way to the end and coming out victorious with a division champion. But I'm telling you, this is a game to watch. I think this is going to be a big, big game. Obviously, for us Broncos fans, it's our first time to get our eyes on a couple of these teams and get some good eyes on them, I should say.
It's funny.
What are you thinking, man?
No, I was just going to say, we're on opposite ends today. Usually you're in the Mountain time zone, but today you're in the Western time zone. I'm in the Eastern time zone. And you all, like Ernie, and where you are today, like usually the 1 o'clock games on Sunday are 10 a.m. start. Well, tonight's game for me, and I'm okay because I'm a night owl because I work overnights. 10:15 start p.m. for that Raider Charger game here on the East Coast. So, but I'll be watching that game. I'm looking forward to it. I'm up late, but yeah. So the opposite ends of the spectrum, we get it on the East Coast here, as you all got to get up early. Our good friend Patrick over there in Hawaii, he's got to get up super early on those 1 o'clock starts. It's 7-hour difference. So he gets to see at least an afternoon game today when the Chiefs and Raiders and Chargers play. So that's funny. And like Michael saying he wants a tie.
I wanted to bring that up because that ultimately would be the most fantastic thing. If all of a sudden they tied, neither one of them get a win. Believe it or not, the Denver Broncos are then right in the mix at that point. I mean, it's not quite a loss, but it's not quite a win. We're like a half a game out.
You may see a tie in this NFL this year. The Giants-Cowboys was very close, Michael, yesterday. 10-minute overtime, and you give both teams a chance to score now.
Yep.
So if both teams score, you only got a couple minutes left to overcome the tie. So, I was watching that first drive, and I was like, man, this is already only 5 minutes left in the overtime, and the Giants even haven't had the ball yet. So it's very, going to see if there's a tie or two in the NFL this year. But real quick, Keith, do you have a game you want to look ahead to next week? Do you have one?
Look ahead.
I know you put that on the agenda.
Let me
unless you want to continue with tonight's games. I know we're looking at the time.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Let's look ahead to week 3, and I'll let you go first because I hadn't looked ahead as of yet. I'll see if any of that really punch out. I see one already, but go ahead, my friend.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna leave one for you. I have one. I got one that I'm really looking forward to, and it's Sunday night. Of course, I'm looking forward to the Chiefs Giants, but hopefully they don't upset me again this week. But Monday, I'm looking forward to a game down in Maryland here. The Ravens hosting the Detroit Lions on Monday night. That could be a Super Bowl matchup if the Eagles were to falter. Maybe the Lions get over that hump. The Ravens, you talk about a team that's a favorite to get to the Super Bowl. Ravens are right there with Buffalo Bills. So this is going to be a super preview maybe of a Super Bowl matchup this year and maybe in the future as well. So looking forward to that game. And I'll be rooting for the Detroit Lions in that game. So I want to see our good friend Carson. I want to see his Lions do well. Team that's suffered through and has no Super Bowl appearances. So let's get them, contending, this year in the NFC.
All right. You know what the meat of mine is going to be, but I'll just give a quick shout out to another game that I think that could be pretty good. Rams, Eagles. That could be a fun one to watch. But of course, Michael Ronquillo, he nailed it. The one that I got to be watching, Denver Broncos versus those Los Angeles Chargers. Hey, the AFC West looks to be fairly open as of right now, man. It's your chance to start jumping up and getting up on top of it before the Chiefs start trying to make a roaring, raging way back into the AFC West scene, man. So, I mean, Broncos, Chargers, obviously, when you're talking about division matchups, they're always great games, and can't wait to see what these two teams bring to the field. Broncos win versus the Chargers, says Ernie Mays. And of course, expect nothing less, Mr. Ernie Mays. Kenny, final thoughts as we almost ready to get out of here on the morning juice. Let everybody get their week started.
Final thoughts, great show. Good morning, everyone. Hope you have a great work week. I'll be back to work Thursday. Keith, enjoy the road where you are. And Wednesday, Denver Bronco Roundup. We're going to have a good one lined up for you all. And, going to get into maybe some, I would call them like burning questions. There's some questions I have for the guys, and I know they'll have some stuff as well. But, until next week, we got 2 good games tonight. I'm going to say juice it up, everyone. Once again, a little white grape, simple but sweet. Have a good day, everybody.
Love it, Kenny. Final thoughts from me, man. Like you said, another fantastic episode. Appreciate everyone jumping in here. We do go live 3 times a week, 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time on Monday with the Morning Juice, and then the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, Wednesday and Friday. Of course, we go live after every Denver Broncos game. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify. Take us with you on the go. Kenny, just getting started. Like I said, only week 2. Can't wait for the morning juice. I can't wait to juice it up, man. But that being said, we're going to give these people their week. We're going to have them go out there, watch a couple of fantastic games tonight, and can't wait to be back with you next week. As always, man, talking toasted, talking the pulp, talking the first squeeze, and talking the morning juice. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for jumping in. Always, as like I say, like, share, subscribe. Make sure that you're telling us all your friends about it. We appreciate everything that you do for us. Thanks for everybody being in the conversation. Have a great week, and can't wait to see you soon.
Juice it up.
Juice it up.